Hello, fellow sim racing drivers, and welcome to this tutorial about the ACC strategy spreadsheet. I will be explaining you how this works because it's a very useful tool, but maybe not that easy to use. So I decided to make a video to actually explain all the features of this. So let's get started. Here, the first tab is just a README with some instructions in case you don't want to watch the video all the time, or you just want to see, okay, what are the main steps to follow. First one, make a copy of this. I will be releasing this in read mode only. So you have to copy it into your drive to be able to actually edit it. Yeah, you have here some information about me, about if you want to give some suggestions, if you want to donate actually, if you really like it and want to donate something to help me improve it further, whatever, just feel free to use that. Actually, if you want to book some coaching sessions with me, let it be driving coaching sessions, endurance racing, or some review of this spreadsheet. If you need me to explain directly how this works, you can use this link and book some coaching sessions. You have also the link to my stream, also of my partner Jose Lopez, who builds amazing setups. You can use this link and my code to actually get a 5% discount and help me a little bit too. And yeah, just if you like the Capitan logos and stuff and you want to buy some merch, some t-shirts and stuff, you can also use this link. This is just some side information. Let's get started. First of all, fill out all information in main. This is this spreadsheet here. You fill out all the information here, this in-game start time, and the actual start time of the race, like the real life start time, the race duration, what's the stint timer, the date. This is just for you to know afterwards when you analyze the drivers' names. You can use some other modifier names, we'll get into it later, and the tank size of the car you're using. Here you will enter your pace, also depending on the modifiers. For example, if it's lower temperatures, you have bad tires, the fast tracks. These modifiers are only optional if you want to go like even more precisely into the strategy. This is the important part. Put the average pace for your drivers. And here what will be the fuel consumption. Just to note, the average pace is in seconds. If you want to know what the seconds is, you can just use this tool here and you will see, for example, if you're doing a 2 minutes, 18.5 seconds lap, you will be entering 138.5. Next tab would be the strategy tab. Here you enter what are the drivers, what drivers are racing, what modifiers you're using, and what the actual laps you'll be doing. Like what are the actual laps that you plan to do, because you will have a calculation here. What is the recommended lap times based on your fuel tank, based on the stint timer and such. This is also will indicate you how much fuel you need to refuel, but you can override this during the race to just what is the actual fuel that you put. You here check if you want to change tires, what tire set you used, if you want to change brake pads, and this is for the race. If you got a drive through a stop and go 30, some kind of penalties, you had to repair damage, and this is a little bit more complicated, just to indicate you had a crash. Here the schedule will be shown, we'll get to that later. A little bit of toolbox, just some extra tools you may find useful, fuel calculators, refuel time calculators, and pit loss calculators. I bet these ones will be the most useful. This, you don't need to worry about that. I pre-filled already the information for every track for you. This will be after the race when the actual race is finished and you want to insert the lap times so you can do some nice analysis. You can use this tab just to have the right format and work with that. You will have some race graphics here. I will go with an example later and you will see how that works. And you can fill the tire information also. Like for each stint, you will get indicated what tire set was used if you enter it correctly in the strategy tab. Yeah, so you go to tire data and just fill in what ACC shows you in, like after the race, you go to the setup tab and take a look at what are the tire conditions after the race for each tire set. How many millimeters were left and what did you have of grain, blister, flat spots, and so on. Last but not least, you have some useful car data for each car. I tried to gather all information I found available. Some information is still missing for some older versions or some stuff that I couldn't find at the moment, but I will try to fill this out later. You can find the steering lock if you wanna have like actually put it into your settings of your wheel and stuff. And this is just, yeah, lots of information. I haven't filled it out properly just to know the fuel tank size, but actually you can always look in the setup, so there's no problem. Let's go for an example. How would that look like? So this was a race I did with Jose Lopez. That was 4.5 hours of Suzuka. And the start time of the race was 5:25. I took into account like the qualifying and stuff, so it was a little bit later than 5. The actual event started at 5, but we had like 10 minutes practice, 15 minutes qualifying. Actually, that was probably more like 30, I guess, with the overtimes and stuff. We should check after. But in any case, this was the in-game start time. You can just put it for the future. I will add some extra features like ambient temperature calculation. For now, it's not that useful. That was the date. We entered the driver's names, the race duration, the stint timer. This is everything pre-filled. You only have to fill out the yellow fields. Like you can choose a track here and this will be automatically modified with the track's data. These were modifiers and here I just put the pace. Jose was a little bit faster than me. He's a really fast driver. And we also had a little bit more fuel consumption. We took that into account. So we went to the strategy and we said, all right, I'm starting and this is the modifier. So I had like no modifier of like bad tires or what was it, low temperatures, bad tires or nothing. So the pace, it was quite hot. I think it was like, I don't know, 29 degrees or something like that. And that's what we based our average pace on. So the calculator actually told me you can do 23 laps. I ended up doing 22 because for the strategy, whatever, we decided to bid earlier. And I did 22 and I started with 76. I overwrote this, so I actually had some fuel left. That means I had to refuel a little bit less for Jose after. And what I did is, well, here write down what tire sets we used. We were changing tires on every stint and we just were alternating, like first me, then Jose, then me, then Jose, and so on. Here the temperatures were started dropping, so I put the modifier 2, and this I actually updated after the race. He just had a little bit of bad lucks with some battles off tracks and stuff, so his tires were quite bad, like losing pressure. So I just put this afterwards, but this is just after the race, not really needed. Um, during the race, I updated this time left. This is actually the time left that was when you cross, you see, time in minutes when stint timer starts and stops. So here, when my stint timer stops, what was the actual time left in minutes? So normally it will calculate. So if you delete everything, it will just take the calculation. If not, this field here just is overwritten with this time left. How can you check? Well, here you can check the stream. I actually put a link here in the example. You can go to the stream, and you will see in this case, here it was when I was pitting, and you see here the time left. And at the just moment where the stint timer ends, this is when crossing this line here. I check, oh, this is 3 hours, 45 minutes, 22 seconds. So I just put here 3 hours, 45 minutes, 22 seconds. And this value, you copy it and you say paste special, the values only, and you paste it. So it gets overwritten. Otherwise, it just calculates what it will think with this actual laps that you did, your average pace that you indicated and stuff. But you can overwrite it during the race to have a more precise calculation. You can the program also tells you how much you should refuel, but you can overwrite how much you actually refueled. So for the future pit stops, you have a new estimation of how much you should refuel. Exactly. So this would be for the strategy, which can be updated during the race. This is a beautiful part. All drivers can update this. So the one that is not driving should do some updates, recalculate the strategy if anything happens. Automatically, you will have this racing schedule, which tells you at what time each stint will start. So obviously I started at 5:30 in real life time, and Jose would know, okay, I need to be prepared before 6:15 to be in time. You know, this is especially useful for long enduros where 24 hours or something like that. You want to know, okay, when am I actually driving if everything goes to plan. This is automatically done depending on the stints, and you don't have to fill anything. Exactly, this is a toolbox. Just use it for shorter races, for fast updates, whatever. If you need to, oh shit, how much fuel do I need? Whatever, you know, it's a little bit too complicated to update this strategy. I need to know it now. You just, yeah, say, okay, what driver is driving? Okay, I'm driving, no modifier. I need to, maybe the race is the last stint or whatever. So I just need to drive 40 minutes, and here you can put the formation lap. So for this 40 minutes, you just need um, 63 liters. But here you see, for doing one lap more, if my pace was 120 seconds, that means 2 minutes. So not that much faster. I would need to do one more lap. So here, you know, okay, maybe just add, well, actually this comment is not, let me delete this. Yeah. So I would need to add 1 liters for one more lap. And if it's the end of the race, maybe add another lap worth of fuel just to account for the leader forcing an extra lap or whatever. You never know in long endurances. And this is the beautiful part. After the race is finished, you copy the lap times that you had. This is normally every league, every race gives you an extract of what were your lap times, and you indicate whether it was an out lap or in lap, out lap, or if you had a drive through, stop and go, because we don't want to, for the race analysis, the race pace analysis, we don't want to take into account drive throughs and stop and goes. So the first lap is always the out lap. And every time there's a pit stop, you can recognize it by the lap times that are much longer. You say, okay, this was my in lap, then the next was the out lap. And this is, you only fill the yellow fields. Everything is automated. You get the pit stop loss that you had, and this is just information used for other stuff. You fill this for every in lap and out lap. This is important. All in laps, out laps are filled. The last lap is nothing because you don't pit in the last lap. You just cross the finish line, so it's normal. And you get shown some beautiful race graphics. So you can choose a stint, just override, oh, I want to compare my first stint with the second stint. Here you see the first laps. Actually, I don't count the first lap because it's always super messy, but even the first 4 laps, you see how the pace was super slow just just because there's so much traffic. Then I got faster. I had to do some battles and stuff. That's why my pace dropped. And yeah, Jose in this case, he was a little bit faster, but also had less traffic, so that helped the overall pace. Bear in mind, what could not be automated is y-axis. So depending on the trucks, this is Suzuka, so the lap times was about 2 minutes, 120 seconds. I said, okay, let's set the y-axis to 119 to 124, just to show something nice. But you can double click here, and when you go to chart axis and no, wait a second, vertical axis, here it is. You can put the minimum and the maximum. You do that for both graphs for each different track, so the data is displayed properly. Because of course, if you wanted to have a spa, you would need something like, I don't know, what's the average time, like 100. That would be 100. 2 minutes is 120. Well, let's put 136. That would be a super fast lap with this, and then 145, whatever. And so that's a problem. It's not shown because, yeah, you need another range. So let's get it back to 124, 119, 124 to show the race pace. And that way you can compare. I can compare, for example, my first stint with my second stint. Here was more consistent, but actually, for some reason, my car, I don't know, I wasn't comfortable in that stint with my car. I think I had a little bit of wrong pressures, and I also had some battles and stuff. Wasn't that good, but for instance, the last stint was much better. The temperatures were lower and I was faster. So that way you can compare, and you can choose also to yeah, compare different stints. For example, my last stint with Jose's last stint, that was where he had to some car came out of pits out of nowhere. I think they didn't change tires and we're stuck behind them, so we lost massive amounts of time, had some off tracks. You can see that here. And last but not least is the tire data analysis. After the race, you can actually look at how much what is the rubber that you have left in each tire. Just need to, this is filled automatically when you, for each stint, you note what tire set you used. Then in tire data, it says, okay, stint 1 had tire set 10. So you know, okay, you have to do screenshots of all tire sets that you used and copy the information, like outside, middle, inside for each tire. What was the what was the rubber left in each tire? Actually, I think I found an error. This would be like that because the way it is displayed it doesn't matter in the end, but the way it displayed in ACC, it's like outside, middle, outside, and then inside, middle, outside for the right tires. Whatever. You insert also what damages you have in the tire, that normally can be none. In my case was none, but for example, Jose in his second stint pushed a lot. He had light graining, light blister here on the fronts. You can also see that the wear per lap was higher, so he was really pushing. Sadly, we didn't save the screenshots for the tire set 8, so we have no information here. You can enter the temperature, but maybe I might manage to automatize that in the future. But this is basically just to compare the drivers after the race. For example, yeah, it was a little bit slower, but I also was kinder to the tires, which if it was longer stints, maybe it would have been useful. And yeah, I think that's basically it. It's a long video, I know, but that's a lot of information. It's not easy to use. I really would appreciate if you use it, give me some feedback, tell me, hey Sergi, this is not clear, this is difficult to use, or I would like to have these feature, these other feature. I can always implement it in the future. Make sure to use this link to fill out the form, give me some suggestion, report the bug, something's not working properly, whatever. And yeah, I will be happy to include it in the further releases. What you will get shared is this folder. I shared this release folder where you have the spreadsheet. I have the example filled out race, so you can always get back to it and see, okay, how is this used, how to properly fill this out and use a spreadsheet. And yeah, you have linked the race, so you can also get back to it, what happened during the race and why did I fill out what I did fill out. All right, having said that, see you on track, hopefully. Bye bye.